Hey, what is up, mortals? It is TheLuckyDerp here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if you didn't know, only 25% of you guys are subscribed to us, so please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In this deep dive, we'll be explaining Blizzard of Hell, better known by her real name, Fubuki. The earliest we know of Fubuki's life is when she's a child and watches her older sister Tatsumaki get abducted because of her psychic powers. But luckily for Fubuki, she wasn't taken since her powers hadn't manifested yet. We next see Fubuki when she was grown up into a woman, and she's become a hero in charge of her own hero group, where we see her receive a report from her subordinate called Eyelashes about a fight with the monster Kombu Infinity, but she doesn't look at it. We next see her when she tries to force Saitama to join her group, with Eyelashes and Mountain Ape at her side. Although Saitama quickly refuses and Fubuki tries to get her subordinates to hurt Saitama, but he easily knocks them out, sending them flying. In response, Fubuki attacks Saitama with her psychic powers, but Saitama isn't hurt, just shrugging it off and patronizing Fubuki about being a hero. Fubuki then attacks Saitama, once more out of desperation with a box cutter, but before they can continue, Genos and Speedo Sound Sonic's fight move over there, causing a small explosion which Saitama defends Fubuki from. Seeing Genos appear and call Saitama Master confuses Fubuki, then watching Genos fight with Sonic being in awe of their speed. She then goes into further shock when she sees part of Saitama's true strength and figures out she can't defeat Saitama. After the fight is over, we learn that Fubuki has an inferiority complex due to her sister having so much more power than her, and because of this reason, Fubuki makes a Blizzard group using it in the hope to surpass Tatsumaki, who works as a lone wolf. Furthermore, the reason Fubuki doesn't advance to A-Class is because she isn't confident in herself in the face of the other powerful heroes in A-Class, such as the disciples of Adam Samurai and Sweet Mask, who gatekeeps people from advancing to S-Class. Once Fubuki is done with this retrospective moment, she tries to belittle Saitama in a final attempt to get him to join the Blizzard group, stating how he won't be able to advance, but she shuts up when King arrives at Saitama's to hang out with him. Seeing all these powerful people around Saitama makes Fubuki want to follow him, and after that day, she started to hang out with Saitama's apartment. We next see Fubuki when she and her Blizzard group are in a battle with the monster, DOS, and Fubuki stops DOS's whip attack with her powers. Although the longer the fight continues, the more Fubuki is overpowered, since DOS eventually mind controls all of Fubuki's subordinates, who Fubuki refuses to harm. Fubuki eventually manages to stop all her subordinates' movements with her telekinesis, but while she's doing this, DOS is able to hit Fubuki with her whip. After the first hit, DOS continues to hit Fubuki over and over, ripping part of Fubuki's dress, and once DOS thinks she controls Fubuki, she approaches the knockdown hero, taunting her about her plans to lure out Tatsumaki. With the monster's guard down, Fubuki sends DOS flying, when using the super move Hellstorm, which also slightly injures DOS. Instead of mostly pissing the monster off, in this angered state, DOS decides to change her plan and kill Fubuki. But before DOS can do anything else, Tatsumaki arrives with an explosive entrance. Seeing this display of power, DOS decides to use her mind-controlled servant to cover her getaway, which Tatsumaki quickly knocks out. Tatsumaki then belittles Fubuki, telling her to go home, saying they will just get in her way before leaving to take down more monsters. We next see Fubuki after she's recovered from her fight, and she goes to Saitama's apartment, arriving to see King and Saitama playing video games, while Bang, Bomb, and Genos are recovering from a fight. Fubuki then informs them about the growing threat of the Monster Association, asking them to act, but Genos shuts her down, telling her about the battle they just fought. We then learn that Genos, Bang, and King's Hero Association communicators were destroyed in the battle, and Saitama then decided to go hunt Goro and buy some cabbage. Fubuki then leaves the apartment looking for Saitama and finding him when he finishes eating a meal. Fubuki then sits down with Saitama, offering him a guaranteed spot in the top 5 of B-Class, as long as he obeys her and gives her 70% of the credit for his actions, although Saitama ignores her, running off to chase after a Dine and Dasher, leaving Fubuki with the bill. Fubuki then returns to Saitama's apartment with the cabbage he left behind, and in an angered state since Saitama ditched her. Although before she can lecture Saitama, Dr. Kursano arrives to visit in a full battle gear, since he got a distress signal from Genos. But once he sees Genos is fine, he gives Saitama some expensive beef. They then have a hot pot there with the expensive beef, tofu, cabbage, and various other things. After the dinner, Fubuki goes home, and the next day she heads to Saitama's apartment, again to inform him, and those there about the raid the Heroes Association is doing on the Monster Association headquarters. She then meets up with Genos, Bang, Bomb, and King, but is disheartened when she learns Saitama isn't there, and they decide to go off for the Monster Association headquarters, except for Genos, who stays to wait for Saitama. Fubuki with Bang and Bomb are later seen in the base, where they are frightened by its shaking, which they didn't know is caused by Saitama, and Fubuki is later defended by Bang and Bomb from parts of Orochi's lightning attack. While going through the facility, Fubuki senses psychic energy emitting from Gear Spear, but before they can think about it, they encounter a hurt overgrown rover, who attacks them with multiple energy blasts that Fubuki blocks. They are eventually able to get overgrown rover to sit, and they leave the monster to its own devices. Later, we see Fubuki in the middle of a rubble of the destroyed Monsters Association base that Tatsumaki destroyed, and initially, she hides in the rubble since she didn't want to worry Tatsumaki, who she could sense was in battle on the surface. Although Fubuki later emerges when she learns that the leader of the Monster Association is her former friend/assistant, Psychos. Psychos deciding to help take care of her. Fubuki is able to get Psychos to go all out against her, and she's able to use a special technique to deflect the physical waves back at Psychos, who was quickly knocked out despite Fubuki having less power. Moments after her victory, awakened Garo appears, who quickly defeats Fubuki with his overwhelming power, traumatizing her in the process. Before we get back into the dive, I would like to say that in case you guys didn't know, we're only one of many We the Celestials channels. If you have a sugar tooth for great storytelling, please give our What If channels a visit as well. No matter if it's My Hero Academia What Ifs or Naruto What Ifs, we've got you covered. Did we get your attention? Great. Make sure you click the icon in the top right corner, or check the description below for the link to the other channels. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the dive. Later, Fubuki is found by King and witnesses Saitama's victory against Goro, and after the fight, she helps Bang escape the ruins of the Monster Association base with her telekinesis. We next see her after the Monster Association's defeat, when she goes with Saitama to interrogate Psychos, who is at the Hero Association's new monster prison. Although before they can talk to Psychos, Tatsumaki shows up, being furious that Psychos is alive and wanting to kill her. Fubuki tries to talk Tatsumaki down, but when she can't, they start fighting, causing the new Heroes Association base to shake and causing some of the monsters to escape their cells before Fubuki and Saitama kill them before they can cause more trouble. Even with Fubuki trying her best, she's no match for Tatsumaki, and before Fubuki can be knocked out, Saitama intervenes, rescuing her. Saitama tries to de-escalate the situation, but is unable to, so he just keeps Tatsumaki away, eventually allowing Fubuki to get up, then restarting her fight with Tatsumaki before the disbanded Blizzard group arrives to help Fubuki. Despite the fight being more and more intense, it quickly comes to an end since Tatsumaki hasn't fully recovered and her powers weaken, giving Saitama a moment to knock her out. Fubuki then leaves Saitama to deal with Psychos and Tatsumaki, while her with the Blizzard group go deal with escaped monsters, but all were dead because Saitama and Fubuki's earlier efforts. Fubuki then tells the Blizzard group that she is going to advance to A-class, much to their shock, then telling them to bolster their power and advance with her, so they can all make the next step forward. Sadly though, that's all we have on Fubuki's story as of writing this. Now let's move on to her appearance. Fubuki is a 5'6" woman with a slim, curvy figure. Her hair is dark green that goes down to her chin with a styled bob, and she has light green eyes. Fubuki typically wears a long white fur coat with a form-fitting dark green dress underneath with multiple necklaces on top, and thigh-high black boots. Moving on to Fubuki's personality, she used to be very self-conscious about her appearance in her younger years, but eventually she grew into her confidence by wearing elegant and expensive clothing and using the phrase "clothes define the man" as a mantra of sorts. In her new self-imposed image, she acts cold-hearted, ambitious, and confident on the outside. Although on the inside, Fubuki has a massive inferiority complex, stemming from living in the shadow of Tatsumaki. It's because of this complex that Fubuki doesn't advance to A-class instead, obtaining to stay at the top of B-class, while any means necessary. Despite her insecurities, Fubuki is still able to act like a hero who is willing to sacrifice herself for the greater good, as seen when she tried during the fight she was a part of against Overgrown Rover. Fubuki also is a charismatic leader, having respect and care towards her subordinates, who reciprocate the attribute. On top of that, throughout the series, Fubuki's personality has massively changed because of her interactions with Saitama, who has encouraged her to overcome her fears/weaknesses, and with this encouragement she was able to become stronger and finally join the A-class, and is trying to continuously improve herself. Fubuki is also quite intelligent like her sister, but unlike her, she can stay level-headed much easier and is shown to have good deduction skills. However, like her sister, her ego has led her to have a constant want for attention, even taking responsibility for her subordinates' actions to gain more. Fubuki can also be quite opportunistic, and she often tries to recruit up-and-coming heroes to her Blizzard group, like when she tried to get Saitama to join. Moving on to Fubuki's abilities. She has enhanced endurance, being able to take multiple hits from DOS without moving. Unlike other heroes who were sent flying a considerable distance, Fubuki also has been shown to have some resistance of mental attacks, such when she wasn't fully affected by DOS mind control. This resistance is thought to come from Fubuki's strong ego. Fubuki also has a high intelligence, being able to come up with plans and figure out things in the heat of battle. Fubuki's main ability, however, is psychokinesis, which allows Fubuki to move things just with a thought, being able to block a powerful attack from the dragon-level threat Overgrown Rover, being able to control the trajectory of her telekinesis signals, which most espers can't, and being able to sense her sister. Furthermore, Fubuki can use this ability to make psychic barriers that are incredibly strong. She can also fly to an extent, and she's able to increase her physical ability, increasing her speed, strength, and even easing some lingering pain. To utilize her power to the fullest, Fubuki uses a fighting style called Expert Psychic Combatant, where Fubuki uses her psychokinesis to fight enemies with various sized attacks. However, Fubuki still lacks some experience, often worrying if she has overdone her attacks. Fubuki also has 5 named moves, the first being Hellstorm, where Fubuki creates a tornado to attack her enemies, which also pulls rocks and nearby small objects to inflict damage with the wind. Her second move is called Psychic Whirlwind, where Fubuki can redirect other people's psychic attacks no matter their strength. This technique is also able to jam other espers who go within its range. Fubuki's third move is called Psychic Strike, where Fubuki makes a chopping motion with her hand, and she hits a target in the back of the neck, with her telekinesis knocking them out. Fubuki's fourth move is called Psychic Binding, where Fubuki suppresses the power of another esper, although this only affects against Tatsumaki for a couple of seconds. Fubuki's fifth move is called Hell Cluster, which Fubuki gathers debris from the surrounding and crushes an opponent with them. Fubuki has also been seen using one item for combat, which is a box cutter. She was seen using it as a last resort melee weapon against Saitama. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Now there are a few things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 and up Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the audio and video editor for this video. Their details are in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video, so thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.